Hey y'all, this is Allison hanging out, not in my space to craft, but in a friend's space to craft. I'm house sitting for a friend out in the Texas Hill Country this week, so I have brought a very limited set of supplies with me. For the week, I have 3 page kits and then some random supplies. We're going to, I think, make a set of care box decorations with a Halloween theme with my friend that I'm staying with, and maybe some cards. But I don't have a lot. I brought my inky mat, my messy mat, my cutting mat. I have some inks and enamel dots and sequins and a few things in here. I brought a set of Cricut pens because I did bring my Cricut machine. So just in case, I have my 12-inch trimmer and my personal trimmer. And I brought my small Scout die cutting machine and a few dies, not very many, some basic shapes. And then I brought some just random paper. So that's kind of it. I'm gonna have to use my creative juices a little bit to get these pages done. I did also bring my box of scrap paper. It is a very big box, but I didn't bring a ton of other things. So let's look at my first page. My first page kit that I did. I have some 2x2 cut aparts. This is, I think, probably some cardstock that I brought in case we make cards. I brought a few pieces of white cardstock. This is going to be a 1-page layout, so I might use one of those, and then some Chamel paper. I love this. I was thinking about using this for the background though, so I may not need the white except to maybe matte things. I do have quite a few photos. These are of my daughter and her boyfriend and my mom. I was there too, but we did on our cruise a little cupcake decorating class. So that's what these pictures are from. Unfortunately, they're not all in the same orientation, but I wanted to include them. I have these papers, which I think are all fun and cute. This reminds me of sprinkles. I also did bring some sprinkles, I think. And there's a cupcake on here. So what I'm going to do is try and complete one of the Around the World challenges based on children's books. And the first one is Annie Dreams of Biryani, and it's to be a food layout with a food embellishment and ink splatters to represent food mess. So what I was thinking, if I use this, ink splatters aren't going to show up as well. They would show up better on the white. I do have at least one food embellishment, and I think I brought a die to make a cupcake food embellishment. I really want to add a little frog on here because the cupcakes that we made had a little frog decorations. And there are some cupcake stickers in this Chamel Reasons to Smile, so I'm going to use those too. So I just need to figure out, is this my background or is this my background? And I think I'm going to challenge myself and use this wood grain for my background. And then I think maybe for my ink splatters, I will use Distress Spritz and splatter that on there in like a rose gold or a bright pink. And then hopefully that, I may have to color test that on here, make sure it's going to show up. I know the rose gold will. So let's figure out a layout. I've got 4 pictures. I do kind of like to put them, this is at the start. So I'm going to put them on a grid, I think, and then decorate the rest of it. Let's see. This is really cute. What if I do a big box of this? And then, oh, that might be really cute. That might be just a really quick answer to it. And then I could do a big cupcake embellishment here and some smaller ones elsewhere. All right, we're going to start with that because if you find something that you think will work, we're going to go for it. I have these pink letters, which will show up on just about anything. If I come up with a title, maybe I'll do pastry chefs. That would be cute. So we'll do pastry chefs here for the title, cupcake there, and more embellishments here. All right, let me do a little bit of cutting and trimming, and I might go ahead and try and make a cupcake with some scraps, and I'll be back with you and we'll figure out placement of everything. Okay, you guys, so this video ends up being a little bit longer than normal, but I did leave almost everything in. I cut out a little bit of sticking stuff down, but for the most part I kept stuff in. So here I found a corner rounder. I didn't bring mine, but I found one in my friend's drawer. She's mostly a quilter, but she does have some old scrapbooking stuff, and so I decided that with the hearts and sort of just the feel of the page, that I thought rounded corners would be fun. I haven't rounded corners on photos in a long time, just because I tend to edit them on my selfie app, print them smaller, and then I can leave the white on there. So when I was dealing with 4x6s and cutting them down to 3x5s or whatever, then I would corner round more often. But I'm happy to do that on this page. I am going to add white border on them, but I'm just looking to see, can I shrink that box a little bit? And how is it going to look when I shrink that box? So, and I round the corners of the boxes that I found as well. The little 2x2s. And I'm going to go off and border those photos and get some other stuff done. And when it comes back, we're going to assemble our ephemera. So this one I made on my Cricut. I like that because you can size it the way you want it. So it's a little froggy because that was the decoration that we were putting on the cupcakes. And I used quite a bit of glossy cardstock for this ephemera. I'm just showing you there from scrapbook.com. I really like it for ephemera, especially, we had been using fondant, and so it sort of matched the feel of the decorating the cupcakes. It's great for eyes, the black and white for eyes, tires on trucks for the black. I think it's really cool. So all of this is going to end up being pretty shiny. just assembling the pieces together. And this cupcake, I have a die set for this cupcake. I think it's from Temu, and it came with an ice cream and a cupcake. And pretty detailed. Lots of different components. You can even cut out sprinkles for it and stuff like that. I have a little jar of fake sprinkles that I'm going to use, and I'm going to put them on this cupcake and all over the page instead of enamel dots or sequins. So I have my little shiny elements, and I'm going to put those in 3 different spots to create a triangle. And the little 2x2s are in a triangle, though a separate triangle. I had thought about putting that chef's hat on the frog, but it was a little too close to the top. So now I'm looking at my lettering and trying to decide what I want to do, and I'm going to cut letters, and I'm going to use the same paper that I used for the paper cup on the cupcake. It's a Chamel paper from the same line, I believe, and so it coordinates. And I really like this paper. I've used it quite a bit. I think I had at least 2 sheets of it, and I just love it. It's kind of a tone-on-tone plaid. So I'm just cutting a piece the width of my little scout. That's all I brought with me, was some alphas, some shapes that fit on this, and my scout. It's better than bringing my whole big one, but you have to do a little more prep, and you're a little more limited in the size of things that you cut. And I realized I forgot the H, and I need another S. So if you do go away to a lot of crops and things like that, I recommend this a little scout. It's so much easier to travel with. And you really can, especially for scrapbooking, you can make frames in different shapes, and it works pretty well. So now I'm struggling because chef's is not going to fit there. So we will go vertical with the title. And that's my plan. And then I'm going to, I've inked everything. Now I did some ink splotching with the pink distressed spritz. I'm not 100% happy with it. It's a little too messy for me for the rest of the style of the page, but it's okay. I'm gonna live with it. I did sort of big drops and then smushed them because it said we were supposed to have ink splotches and splatters for the challenge. I'm not 100% happy with it. I should have just done sprinkles, but it is what it is. It's okay. So I'm just looking through for some wordy bits. I don't find any. And I think we're going to add our sprinkles and call this page done. So if you made it this far, it's a little bit longer video. Please give this video a thumbs up. I do also, by the way, add some gold spritz on here. So I have gold spritz and pink spritz. Just because there's some gold in some of the ephemera. And I'm just sprinkling some of those sprinkles around, and then I'll glue them down, and then we'll do some close-ups. So if you are not subscribed to my channel yet, please go ahead and subscribe and ask for notifications. I do try and post most weeks 5 or 6 videos a week. They're not all scrapbook pages. I have a few other projects like cards and other little fun crafty things that I do. I will post less when I travel because it's just hard to get that far ahead. But I'm pretty consistent and I really enjoy sharing my paper crafting with you. All right, let's take some close-ups. Okay, it's another bright and busy page of pastry chefs. This meets the requirements for the Around the World challenge. I've got food embellishments. I've got ink splotches. And I added cupcake sprinkles all over. Thanks a lot, you guys.